So I came across a report that is pretty disturbing, even by the standards of contemporary London. I'll just get into it. This is from the London Evening Standard. The headline certainly catches your attention, and the photo that goes with it really says it all. Woman and girlfriend attacked on London night bus for refusing to kiss for gang of men. The reports by Bonnie Christian. So the photo that comes with this shows two women. One is a Uruguayan flight attendant with Ryanair, the other an American. And they were violently attacked by a group of yobs, four male thugs, who, first of all, gave them verbal abuse, taunted them. And I'm going to read out a bit of the report, and I'll go from there. A woman has described a terrifying attack on her and her girlfriend by a group of men while they were on their way home from a night bus in North London. Melania Gimonnet, and apologies if I'm mispronouncing anything, a 28-year-old air hostess and her girlfriend Chris were left bloodied and in shock after the attack on May the 30th that she said started when the men asked the pair to kiss for their entertainment. And she put a photo of this attack on which occurred in Camden. She labelled the attack as chauvinist, misogynistic and homophobic violence. I had a date with Chris, Miss Gimonnet wrote in her post. We got on the night bus, climbed upstairs, and took the front seats. We must have kissed or something because these guys came after us. She said she does not remember if the group of four men were already on the bus or had gotten up after them, but they began behaving like hooligans and demanding that they kissed so they could enjoy watching. She added the men called them lesbians and described sexual positions. There's another photo showing her black eye. It was only after that it was only them and us there. In an attempt to calm things down, I started making jokes. I thought this might make them go away. Chris even pretended she was sick, but they kept on harassing us, throwing us coins, and becoming more enthusiastic about it. The next thing I know is that Chris is in the middle of the bus fighting with them. On an impulse, I went over there only to find her face bleeding and the three of them beating her up. What a bunch of cards. The next thing I know is I'm being punched. I got dizzy at the sight of my blood and fell back. I don't remember whether or not I lost consciousness. And when the police arrived, she said she was bleeding all over. She added, I'm tired of being taken as a sexual object, of finding out that these situations are usual, of gay friends who were beaten up just because. We have to endure verbal harassment and chauvinist, misogynistic, and homophobic violence because when you stand up for yourself, shit like this happens. London Mayor Sadiq Khan wrote on Twitter that attacks against the LGBT plus community will not be tolerated. This was a disgusting misogynistic attack. Hate crimes against the LGBT plus community will not be tolerated in London. In a statement, Siwan Hayward, Director of Compliance, Policing and On-Street Services at TfL, that's Transport for London, said, this sickening attack is utterly unacceptable. Homophobic behaviour and abuse is a hate crime and won't be tolerated on our network. All of our customers have the right to travel without fear of verbal or physical assault, and we are working with the police to stamp out this behaviour on our transport network. We will do all we can to support the police investigation into this incident. The Met confirmed an investigation was underway. Subsequently, apparently, some arrests have been made. Um, Police are appealing for witnesses and information after two women were assaulted and robbed in a homophobic attack on a bus in Camden. Even with those arrests being made, if anyone knows anything, the information here, I'll put a link to it. It's to contact the police on 101 or tweet at capital M Met CC and quote CAD 737 forward slash 30th of May. That's all uppercase. Alternatively, call Crime Stoppers anonymously on 0800 555 111. And the incident happened half 2 a.m., approximately half 2 a.m., Thursday, the 30th of May. And the bus was N31 in West Hampstead, as you were going towards Camden. Um, Disgusting, absolutely disgusting. This particular incident has made news around the world. In fact, because one of the women is American, it was in a local North Dakota newspaper. It's also been reported in Latin American press. Um, what sort of scumbags would do something like attack total strangers, unarmed women for what? For not giving them their sick sense of pleasure? I mean, it's absolutely abhorrent. As a man, as a straight man, um, I'm disgusted by it. And I like to think if I was there, I would have said something. You get this group mentality, these cards, these thugs, whether it's from a bit of booze, whether it's that group mentality, whatever it is, they need to be told to their face that they are despicable cards. And only a custodial sentence suffices in cases like this, violent, unprovoked assaults. Um, it absolutely is a hate crime because there's a context there of the verbal abuse that came with it. This wasn't just like a random mugging, which would be bad enough. But here you have three things. You have the initial verbal abuse, which must have been intimidating. A bunch of guys intimidating two women. Um, the violent assault, and then they were robbed as well. I mean, it's disgusting. It's absolutely makes my blood boil, to be honest. But cases like this should remind those foolish people who are against prison that there are violent people in society. I mean, anyone who would violently attack a stranger belongs behind bars, period. And I just hope some weak judge doesn't give them a tap on the wrist. Any judge that doesn't pass a custodial sentence with a case like this isn't fit to do their job. And I think pressure should be put on politicians who advocate leniency. I mean, yes, there's this issue about the homophobia. That's a serious issue, but I would extend that to any violent assault. And I've been on public transport late at night where stupid drunks, often men, but women as well, it has to be said, just selfish, stupid people who think that they've had a few drinks so they could do what they want. It's a toxic problem in this country. I do think it's a particularly British thing. I'm not saying it doesn't happen elsewhere, but this is a particular British phenomenon where you get drunk louts throwing their weight around, and I am so sick of hearing about it. Um, as for Sadiq Khan, I mean, he's saying the right things, but he needs to show he is on the side of victims of crime, all victims of crime, and he needs to start talking tough and saying that he supports custodial sentences. Um, so I just hope the people responsible, do get a custodial sentence because someone who, in my view, someone who's going to do that to a stranger is a dangerous individual. They're the sort of person who would lash out at the tiniest provocation in their mind. And some people might say there will be people who try to deny it, try to put an angle on it. But I've been in that situation when you're dealing with drunks, and I'm not saying the men were drunk, but I think very often that's the case. Um, you do that. You try to humor them. You'll do anything to get them to go away. You can ignore them. That won't be enough. I can imagine two women sitting on their own, minding their own business, and some louts thinking, "Oh, let's have a laugh, lads." These degenerate people need to be really made an example of. I think the Met should, if there's any CCTV footage, and a lot of London buses now do have cameras, they need to plaster that all over cyberspace, get these people exposed, name and shame them. I would be all for that in a case like this, because the public have a right to be protected. And, it's awful that there is also the hate crime aspect to this. But I think it's awful in any situation. If anyone was attacked, if it been a straight couple attacked, that would also be bad. But I do think that there are people who think that they'll get away with it if their target is, for example, a lesbian couple, a gay couple, refugees. I read another report this morning that attacks on refugees were on the rise. People getting, their homes attacked. Urine thrown at them, things like this. There is just This culture of mindless thuggery in this country. The United States has to deal with gun violence. It's a real problem over there, and we don't have that. But we do have a problem with mindless just yobbery, and it really does ruin our overall life quality. These women should never have had to go through this, and I can imagine it'll it'll take time to recover. The injuries might heal, but I wouldn't be surprised if they have post traumatic stress of some sort. Disgraceful. So if you know anything, please do the right thing. Get in touch with the police. I'll put a link to this article.